How I became fluent without memorizing vocabulary. Before we jump into today's lesson, I want to ask you something important. Have you subscribed to our channel yet? If you're trying to learn real English, not the boring textbook kind, but the kind people actually speak and understand, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell so you never miss a daily video, and of course, like this one if you find it helpful. Now let's get into something that might surprise you. For a long time, I thought the only way to learn English was to memorize vocabulary. You know the method: write down a word, write the meaning next to it, maybe even use some flashcards. You study those words every day. You test yourself. You repeat them. Again and again. But there was a problem. Even after memorizing hundreds of words, I still couldn't speak well. I couldn't understand native speakers in real conversations. I couldn't find the right words when I needed them. It felt like all those words were somewhere in my head, but they weren't coming out when I needed them the most. And it was frustrating. So one day, I asked myself, what if I stop memorizing vocabulary completely? What if I learn like a child? What if I stop writing words down, and instead, just listen, speak, and absorb English in a natural way? That's exactly what I did. And everything changed. Let me explain how. The first thing I realized is that language is not a list of words. It's not just vocabulary. It's a living thing. It's rhythm. It's sound. It's movement. When a baby learns to speak, they don't say, "Today I'm going to memorize 10 words." No. They listen. They watch. They feel the language. And slowly, it becomes a part of them. So I stopped making vocabulary lists. Instead, I started listening to simple English stories. Not once. Not twice. But over and over again. I didn't write anything down. I just listened. And slowly, without even trying, I started understanding more. Certain phrases began to feel familiar. Certain words started to repeat themselves in different situations. It felt natural. Then I started speaking. Not perfectly. Not with confidence at first. But I repeated the phrases I had heard. I said them out loud while walking. I talked to myself in the mirror. I pretended to be in conversations. I wasn't memorizing, I was living the words. And something amazing happened. The words I used again and again became part of me. I didn't need to think about them. I didn't need to look them up. I just knew them, because I had used them. I had felt them. I had lived them. That's the key. Fluency doesn't come from memorizing vocabulary. It comes from using vocabulary. Let's say you learn the word door. If you see a picture of a door and write door, a flat object you open to go in or out, you might remember it for a few days. But if you hear someone say, "Could you close the door?" and you're actually in a room, and someone walks over and shuts the door, that moment sticks. You remember the word because it connects to something real. That's how I learned English. I stopped separating vocabulary from experience. I let the words live inside stories, actions, and emotions. I started watching short conversations in English, simple scenes from daily life. I listened closely. I repeated the lines. I didn't stop to analyze each word. I just absorbed the feeling, the sound, the situation. And with time, I began to think in English. That's something else I never got from vocabulary lists. You can't think in English if every word you use has to be translated from your first language. Your brain doesn't have time to translate and speak at the same time. But when you live in English, your brain starts to connect words with feelings, not translations. That's when fluency begins. I also changed how I listened. Instead of focusing on individual words, I started focusing on chunks of language. Little phrases. Expressions that people actually use. Things like, I'm not sure. Do you want to? It doesn't matter. These are not just words. These are tools for real conversation. They don't always follow simple grammar rules, but they are powerful. And they're everywhere. The more I heard these phrases, the more I used them. I didn't memorize them on purpose. I didn't write them down. I just heard them so many times that they became natural. And because I had heard them in real situations, I knew exactly how and when to use them. This is something nobody tells you. Real English is not clean and perfect like a textbook. Native speakers don't talk like grammar books. They use shortcuts. They combine words. They leave things out. If you only learn vocabulary lists, you're missing the real language. So I focused on input, real, natural, understandable English input. I didn't understand everything at first. But I didn't panic. I didn't translate every word. I just listened for meaning. And slowly, I understood more and more. Then I shadowed the speakers. Shadowing means you listen to a line, and then you repeat it, with the same tone, the same rhythm, the same speed. You become a kind of actor. You're not just saying the words. You're copying the feeling. That's how you train your mouth and brain to move together. And again, I didn't write anything down. I didn't study. I just did it. Now, does that mean I never learned new words? Of course not. But the way I learned them was different. Instead of looking up a list of new vocabulary, I let new words come to me. If I heard the same unknown word many times in different places, I paid attention. If I needed it, I looked it up once. And then I focused on using it in a sentence, not writing a definition. Let's say I kept hearing the word maybe. I heard someone say, maybe later. Then someone else says, maybe tomorrow. Then I say, maybe I'll go. I don't need to memorize, maybe means perhaps. I feel what maybe means. And I never forget it. That's how your brain wants to learn. By experience. By repetition. By emotion. Not by force. Another thing I did was make English part of my day. I described everything around me in English. This is my coffee. I'm drinking it. It's hot. I didn't use difficult words. I just used the words I already knew, again and again. I also asked myself questions in English. What are you doing now? Where are you going? Are you tired? I answered out loud. It felt silly at first, but it worked. It made English real. It made English mine. And guess what? The more I spoke, the more confident I became. The more I listened, the easier it got. The more I used English, the less I needed to study it. Fluency is not about how many words you know. It's about how easily and naturally you can use the words you already know. I stopped worrying about big vocabulary tests. I stopped stressing about grammar mistakes. I started focusing on connection, on communication, on being part of the language. And little by little, English stopped being a subject I was learning. It became a language I was living. So if you're someone who's been trying to memorize long lists of vocabulary and still feels stuck, maybe it's time to stop memorizing and start experiencing. Find stories in English. Listen to them. Repeat them. Speak out loud every day. Use the words you already know in real situations. Don't worry about knowing everything. Just keep showing up. Keep listening. Keep talking. Let the words come to you. Let the language grow inside you, like a tree, slowly, naturally, beautifully. You don't need to memorize to be fluent. You just need to live the language, one small step at a time. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever struggled with memorizing vocabulary? What's something you've tried that worked for you? Or what's one thing from this video that you're going to start doing today? Tell us in the comments. Your experience might help someone else on their journey too. And if this video helped you see English learning in a new way, please share it with your friends. Learning together makes the journey even better. Don't forget, we post new videos every single day, so make sure you're subscribed, the bell is on, and the like is clicked. Thanks for learning with us. You're doing better than you think. Keep going. We're here with you every step of the way.